Anna sat on the porch of an old wooden house and watched the setting sun paint the endless fields with an amber light. The world as it once was long gone. After the epidemic that took millions of lives, humanity was never able to recover. Cities were empty, civilization disintegrated into isolated settlements, and marauders now roamed the roads, ready to kill for a sip of water. On the farm, far from this chaos, Anna lived with her father. Her mother had died a few years ago, and since then the two of them had been trying to survive. Yes, at 16 and a bit, Anna had seen enough. The farm became their fortress, and the old barn became their workshop, where my father spent hours tinkering with parts, assembling something unusual. He loved collecting things from the old world. "Anna, come here," father called from the workshop. The girl jumped off the porch and hurried to him. Inside stood a tall silhouette, a robot. Its metal body glittered in the rays of the setting sun, and its lens eyes shimmered softly. "He's almost ready," said the father, wiping sweat from his forehead. "If anything happens to me, he'll help you." "Dad, don't say that," the girl hugged him. "We'll be fine." "The harvest was good this year. We prepared a lot of jars for the winter. We'll survive." The man smiled broadly. "That's right," he kissed his daughter on the forehead. "You're right." He nodded towards the robot. "But you should still meet him. It's an extremely intelligent model." In the old life, scientists created special chips with artificial intelligence. By 2045, they were sold freely for only $100. The father took a sip from a can of beer. "I found 2 of these chips in a supermarket last month. One worked, although I had to tinker with it a bit." The man laughed hoarsely. "This tin can is damn smart." Anna slowly approached her new acquaintance. The girl ran her hand over the cold metal. "Hello," the robot's icy voice sounded. His pupils changed color from red to yellow. Anna screamed and staggered back. But her father caught her. "Daughter," he sighed, "you understand perfectly well that in this world, or you have no friends left, where every morning could be your last, even like this." "But he's not alive," Anna blurted out. "I already have the best friend in the world, it's you." The man laughed. He wanted to answer something, but a metallic clang stopped him. The robot took its first step, then another one. Anna grabbed her father's hand. Her palm was icy and sweaty with fear. The robot approached the girl, sat down on one knee. He opened the small hatch located in the center of his chest and took out a tattered book. It was a collection of short stories by Ray Bradbury. "Do you like to read?" the robot asked. Anna looked at her father in shock. He smiled and nodded. "Yes," the girl answered, stuttering. "I love it." "Then this is for you." The robot handed the book to Anna and stood up. "Thank you." Anna swallowed the lump in her throat. "I've read the Martian Chronicles dozens of times." "Then you'll like it," said the robot, and his pupils turned green. "He liked you," smiled the father. "The red color of the pupils expresses his anger, yellow, curiosity, and green means that he feels comfortable and safe. He liked that you accepted his gift." Anna nodded silently, but she still didn't believe what was happening. In her life, she had only seen robots at the dump. And even then, it was hard to call those iron things in the pile of garbage a robot. And here, a real robot. "Who also gives you a book by one of your favorite writers." "Yes, he doesn't look so great." The father scratched the back of his head. "We had to give him arms from different models, and the metal on his left leg has already started to rust." "He's wonderful," said Anna, charmed by her new friend. "You did a great job, Dad." The man beamed. He didn't answer, but praise from his daughter was the most valuable thing he had. "What will you name him?" Anna looked from her father to the robot, listening to the soft melody coming from its battered speakers. "Can you turn it up?" "I like this song." The robot obeyed. The song End of the World by Skeeter Davis started playing. "Why does the sun keep shining? Why does the sea wash the shores? Don't they know that the end of the world has come? Because you don't love me anymore." "Where did you get this?" The father was surprised. "I didn't notice that you had a radio." "It's a player," the robot replied. "I have several cassettes." Anna smiled. "I'll name you Mozart." Chapter 2. It's never too late to learn. Father decided to go to the city. He needed to find a couple more parts for his new project. And it never hurt to replenish his supplies. Even though they had managed to set up a good farm, there were still many useful things to be found in the supermarkets of the nearest metropolis. And you can't grow medicines or household items on the farm. Father didn't like going to the city unless absolutely necessary, but there was no other way. The main thing is to act carefully and not give away the location of the farm. Father didn't want to take Anna with him. It was too dangerous. The girl stood at the gate, watching him get into the old pickup. "I'll be back by night," he said, and he smiled. But Anna didn't like that smile. She saw the worry on her father's face. Last week the girl had switched to a new frequency on the radio and heard the conversations of some group. It was one of the countless marauding gangs roaming the city and beyond. Judging by their conversations, they weren't that far from the farm. "Dad, maybe you shouldn't go this time." Anna was almost crying. "We can do without. What can we do without?" Father sighed. "You know that we always need medicine, or have you forgotten how sick you were last winter? Then I thought I would lose you, and after your mother died. If only you..." The father fell silent, hanging his head. Anna walked up to her father and hugged him tightly. "If something goes wrong," the father continued, "Mozart will protect you." "Maybe it would be better for you to take him with you," Anna asked. "No, you need it more," the man smiled. "It seems he liked it when you read aloud to him. In my opinion, he can't live without it anymore." They burst into laughter. "Don't worry," the father kissed his daughter on the forehead. "I'll be fine. I promise." That evening, Anna was very worried about her father. She reproached herself for not going with him. She was no longer a child, and she should help her father in everything. But he was adamant. "He's always like this." Anna was rushing from side to side in the living room beside herself with anger. "How long will my father take me for a child? I'm already an adult." But that's not true, Mozart's measured voice rang out. He had chosen the voice of a man over 40, quiet and inexpressive, but Anna liked it. His voice always radiated calm. The robot sat on the sofa with his legs crossed. Anna taught him this pose. "According to local laws, you will be a child for another 2 years, because you are only..." "And you too!" Anna flared up. "I'm sure your father knows what he is doing," Mozart continued. "He wants the best for you, like all good human parents." "Did he program you to speak like that?" The girl rolled her eyes. "You're supposedly a very smart piece of iron, but you speak in some memorized phrases." "You're mistaken. My program code gives me complete freedom of thought. I always say what I consider necessary." Mozart's eyes changed from green to yellow. Anna noticed this and felt uneasy. "Okay." Anna sat down next to me. "I shouldn't have gotten so upset. You're not to blame for anything." The robot turned its head towards her. Its pupils turned green again. "You have nothing to apologize for," Mozart replied. "I understand that you are worried about your old man." "Old man?" The girl burst out laughing. "Yes, you've picked up a lot of phrases." A calm, measured melody began to play from Mozart's speakers. Something from the classics, which Anna didn't understand very well. They sat in silence for a while, watching the rising sun. Mozart listened with interest to the birds singing in the yard. He was interested in every rustle. Even though his father said that Mozart was extremely smart, he still learned some things from scratch. It was strange. He looked like a centenarian who knew all the laws of physics and could add up 10-digit numbers in 1 second, but did not understand why Anna brushed her teeth twice a day. Mozart was convinced. Once was enough. "You know, you remind me of Benjamin Button." Anna smiled. "I am not familiar with this work." "You should watch the movie." Anna's eyes sparkled with delight. Brad Pitt played so well. And, by the way, this is a rare case when the film adaptation is better than the original. Well, or rather the book is also not bad, but the movie, it's a masterpiece. "Thanks for the recommendation, but I don't have a tape of this film." "Then you're lucky," the girl winked. "I even have 2. We'll watch the director's cut." Anna jumped up from the couch and ran up the stairs to her bedroom. A minute later, she returned with a movie tape, a blanket, and a teddy bear. The girl threw everything on the couch and ran to the kitchen. While Mozart was looking at the teddy bear with interest, Anna was making sandwiches. She made 2, but the robot refused. "Thank you," he replied. "But if I eat even a piece, I won't live a minute. But it looks very appetizing. You're a good boy." They spent the whole day watching movies. After The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, they moved on to The Lord of the Rings trilogy. Mozart followed every detail of what was happening. At some points he approached things too rationally, which began to irritate Anna. When asked why the Eagles were unable to deliver the ring to Mount Doom instead of Frodo, the girl slapped the robot on the back of the head and ordered, "Shut up and watch the movie." But Mozart didn't hold a grudge against her. He understood that people are prone to excessive emotionality. That's what made them interesting to him. He liked learning new things from Anna because his code was built with a constant desire for progress. Mozart had to become better every day. After all, Anna's safety depended on him. and there was nothing more important to Mozart. His pupils never changed their green color that day. Mozart did not remember his previous life. Perhaps he was a garbage recycling robot in one of the megalopolises, or a robot servant of a millionaire, or a teacher of some girl who looked like Anna. Or perhaps his previous life never existed. He only remembered opening his eyes and seeing a blue-eyed girl with long red hair in front of him. The happiest moment in his life. Anna looked at her new friend and smiled widely, like she had never experienced anything like this before. Even though Mozart was sometimes too boring, she still enjoyed spending time with him. They watched movies until late at night. Anna put a pillow on Mozart's legs and fell asleep like that. In her arms was a teddy bear. "Well, there you go," Mozart said quietly. "I told you, he's still a child." Anna woke up with the first. She hadn't felt so good for a long time. The girl looked around. Mozart was outside. He was standing near her father's pickup truck. "He didn't lie," Anna beamed. "He's back." The girl jumped up from the sofa. In her pajamas, with her hair disheveled, she ran out into the street, and the next moment she stopped, 10 meters from the pickup truck. Her legs became numb and her hands became icy. She took a few more steps, unsteadily. "What is this?" Anna stammered in a barely audible voice. "But, Dad..." There were several bullet holes on the pickup's windshield. The father was driving, covered in blood, and didn't breathe, didn't move. His eyes were closed. Anna fell to her knees and screamed hysterically. Mozart looked from the girl to her father, then back again. He moved toward Anna, but then stopped. His eyes turned red. The robot was angry at his own impotence. He had to do something, help somehow. Mozart began to calculate all possible options. The protection function is activated. Mozart turned on Skeeter Davis's End of the World again. He didn't know how to console, didn't know what to say. But he knew that music could speak for him. Why does my heart keep beating? Why are my eyes crying? Don't they know that the end of the world has come? This happened when you said goodbye. The robot knelt down next to the sobbing Anna and hugged her. Now Anna had only a robot by her side. She had lost both her parents and felt completely devastated. The first morning without her father was the hardest. Anna didn't know where to start. In her world, there had always been someone who made decisions. But now the responsibility lay solely on her. "The decision is yours," Mozart said. "But I advise you to leave the farm as soon as possible. The marauders will track where the pickup went, and they will come here." Anna rubbed her tear-stained eyes. Mozart's voice was flat, emotionless, but his words made sense. She looked around the farm. The food supplies were running low, the pump was broken, and her father had never taught her how to fix it. She was beginning to feel thirsty. In the distance loomed a city. Dangerous, but full of resources. "What should I do now?" Anna whispered. Mozart did not answer right away. It was obvious that he was thinking about something. Then the robot put his hand on her shoulder and said, "Your father changed something in my code. I can go against your wishes in one single case." "In which one?" Anna sniffled. "In the event that I must protect you from any threat. And I will do everything possible for this. Pack your things. We are leaving the farm right now." The city greeted them with deathly silence. Once upon a time, life was in full swing here. Now there were only empty skyscrapers, rusty cars, and the occasional silhouette of a rat in the alleys. Anna walked carefully along the streets, listening to every rustle. She had only been to the city once, in those old days when Mom and Dad were still alive, in those days when the old world had not yet been destroyed. The first thing Anna did was go to the nearest supermarket. Among the overturned shelves, the girl found several cans of stew, a pack of damn cookies, and a bottle of water. Not much, but enough for a couple of days. "Here, take these." Mozart held out a pack of crackers. "They haven't even expired yet." "Thank you," Anna forced a smile. She put the collected supplies into a backpack and wanted to put it on her back, but Mozart stopped her. "I'll carry it." Anna nodded silently. They continued on their way. Anna and Mozart crossed the ruined neighborhoods, walking along streets where nature had already begun to take over. Here and there, plants were already pushing through the concrete. The city was dying. The high-rises, once shining with glass and steel, now stood as gloomy ruins. In one of the buildings they found an old pharmacy. The shelves had been looted, but Mozart managed to find a sealed box of antibiotics. "This might come in handy," he said, carefully placing the phial in the hiding place located in the center of his chest. As it began to get dark, they came to a crossroads. Anna's attention was immediately drawn to the library, a 3-story building, peeling but still retaining a hint of its former grandeur. The doors were locked, but Mozart quickly found his way through a side entrance. It was dark inside. The huge hall greeted them with silence and layers of dust. There was a click. Mozart's right palm transformed into a huge lantern. "This is awesome!" Anna smiled for the first time in a long time. "Your father thought of everything. He was a first-class master of his craft." Anna hesitated for a second, looking away. Only 3 days had passed, and it was still unbearably hard for her to hear about her father. "Let's see what's up there." Anna ran her hand over the dusty spines of the books. "The information is recorded," Mozart said, scanning the covers. "Most of the books are unreadable, half of them are damp, but some contain useful information: engineering, medicine, hunting. I like the book called Gardening for Dummies." Anna smiled. She went to the applied literature section. She took out one of the books. In the 3rd chapter, she found the answer to how to fix a water pump. It will come in handy for the future. Anna handed the book to Mozart, who immediately put it away in his storage. They climbed the spiral staircase to the next floor. It was entirely devoted to fiction. The rows of shelves stretched for hundreds of meters, disappearing into the semi-darkness. Tall columns supported the vaults, and huge chandeliers, covered in dust, hung from the ceiling. Countless books preserved the memory of human history, great discoveries. Here were masterpieces of world literature, collected works of Dostoevsky and Shakespeare. Remarque lay on the same shelf with Hugo, and Lovecraft was next to George Martin. Anna loved the cycle A Song of Ice and Fire, and she was sorry that the author never managed to finish it. But this place also preserved the memory of how this very humanity destroyed everything with its own hands. Books about wars and epidemics filled one of the shelves. Mozart continued to scan books, absorbing as much information and knowledge as possible. "Read 1,000 pages in a couple of seconds," Anna chuckled. "I wish I could do the same." "Although, well, no. I'm sure you don't get any pleasure from reading then." "I don't even know what pleasure is," Mozart replied in a measured tone. Surprisingly, the place didn't seem abandoned. The reading tables were still in place, frozen in anticipation of visitors, and even a few armchairs near the fireplace, covered in a thick layer of dust, seemed to be waiting for their owners. They were able to light the fireplace without any problems. One of the chairs replaced the logs, Mozart had a lighter in storage, and Anna sent a 9th grade algebra textbook for kindling. She never liked mathematics. They spent the entire evening sitting by the roaring fireplace, leafing through books. Anna ate a couple of crackers, but she couldn't swallow another bite. She took up her books again. Mozart asked her to read something aloud. Anna took Don Quixote from the shelf. "When the future historian of my exploits," Don Quixote said to himself, "will begin to describe my first ride, he will probably begin his narrative like this. As soon as the fair-haired Phoebus had spread the golden threads of his beautiful hair over the face of the earth, as soon as the colorful birds, with the gentle harmony of their melodious voices, greeted the appearance of Aurora, the famous knight Don Quixote of La Mancha jumped on his glorious horse Rocinante and set off on a journey across the ancient Montiel plain." Then he added, "Happy will be the century when at last my glorious deeds will be recorded on paper, depicted on canvas, imprinted on marble. But whoever you are, wise wizard, my chronicler, I beg you, do not forget my good Rocinante." Anna slammed the book shut and looked up at Mozart. "Won't you forget about me?" the girl asked. "What are you talking about?" The robot's pupils turned yellow. "Well," Anna scratched the back of her head, "you will obviously live longer than me. Robots are not as fragile as we are, leatherbacks with bones." Anna giggled, but Mozart didn't support her, although he knew that perhaps she was right. "I will keep the memory of you forever, even when I stop functioning." Anna kept her gaze on the robot. She had not expected such an answer, and she just remained silent, watching the dancing fire in the fireplace. Outside, a downpour began. Thunder rolled loudly across the sky, as if a giant were splitting the world in half. A flash of lightning lit up the sky, turning night into day for a moment, and then plunging everything back into darkness. By midnight, Anna fell asleep, wrapped in a blanket. The teddy bear was at her side. She was awakened by a shot. It was still deep night. Mozart was already standing at the window. 3, dirty, in worn clothes, with knives and pistols. Why did they shoot? They killed the man, Mozart replied. They decided to rob him. They left him in his underwear and took his backpack. God, Anna jumped to her feet. What should we do? Mozart was silent. His pupils turned red. It looks like they're coming this way. Mozart activated defense mode. Don't be afraid, come out. One of the marauders laughed loudly. Their gang was already on the first floor. We won't bite you. Anna quickly packed her things into a backpack, preparing to run at any second. We've been on your trail all evening, continued the marauder. It seemed he was the leader of their gang. Don't fool us, we know you're here. Mozart combed the entire third floor in search of an emergency exit, but he found nothing. The emergency staircase was already rusty and would not have supported even the weight of a child. They didn't have a plan B. We'll have to go straight ahead. Hide somewhere, Mozart ordered Anna. What are you going to do? The girl asked, hiding behind the bookcase. The robot's pupils sparkled a bright red. Anna had never seen him like this. I will follow my protocol, Mozart replied. I will protect you. The robot moved silently. He became a shadow, invisible in the darkness of the night. Mozart looked out from behind cover, waited a few seconds, and moved forward. A bald man with a long beard stood on the stairs. In his hands was a pistol. Don't you want to do it the easy way, he shouted, then it will be But Mozart didn't let him finish. His attack was lightning fast. The bandit didn't even have time to realize how the robot had broken his neck. There was a rumble. The marauder's lifeless body rolled down the stairs. Hey, what the hell is going on down there? Someone shouted from below. Mozart immediately jumped over the parapet and found himself in the hall on the first floor. The marauders were taken aback for a second. The leader, a long-haired brute in a leather jacket, pointed a huge machete at him. His face was distorted into a disgusting grin. Well, well, the bandit hissed. Look who we have here, Limpy. The limping man, a short, fat man with a shotgun, chuckled cheerfully and spat in Mozart's direction. Just look at how many parts you can grab from him. Kramiga burst into barking laughter. He scratched his stubble thoughtfully, figuring out how much he could get for the parts from Mozart. They'd give a fortune for him at the local market. What a stroke of luck. The leader slapped Kramiga on the shoulder. Come on, Tinkan, don't be afraid. Come here. We'll get you now. You must go, Mozart said icily, while I still give you this chance. Longhair looked at Limpy. The marauders laughed loudly. What a guy, the chieftain croaked. And he can even joke. The leader gave the signal to Kramiga, who cocked the trigger, pointing the shotgun straight at Mozart. Enough already. The leader's face was distorted with anger. Finish him off. But he didn't have time to finish. In a split second, Mozart was behind him and he wrung his neck. The lame man's eyes widened, he screamed like a wounded boar on a hunt. And then he fired, without looking where, and hit the leader's body. Reloaded and fired again. But Mozart had already disappeared without a trace. The lame man looked around. Where are you? The bandit squealed. You fucking tin can, come out. What are you hiding for? I'll give you a... The limpy one slipped and fell backwards, the shotgun flying out of his hands. He was still trying to feel for the weapon, but the next second he felt a burning pain in his right hand. The metal leg crushed his hand into a pancake. The lame man screamed throughout the library. The last thing he saw was two fiery eyes. He returned to Anna when the first rays of the sun were already beginning to break through the window. The threat has been eliminated, the robot reported. Anna crawled out from behind the shelter and ran up to him. The girl hugged the robot. Mozart stood rooted to the spot. He didn't know what to do in such situations, but he was glad that Anna was safe and sound. He had accomplished his task. His eyes turned green again. What's that? Anna stepped back, peering into the hole in Mozart's side. Oh my god, you're wounded. That's not true, Mozart replied. I can't be hurt. I just need replacement parts. But where will we find them? Don't worry about it, said the robot. It's none of your business. We need to keep going. Those marauders weren't the only ones around. The others probably heard the shots and will definitely come running here. Anna's gaze lingered on Mozart. What did you do to those people downstairs? Mozart did not answer. You killed them, right? I had to, the robot answered in an indifferent tone. I gave them a chance to leave, but they didn't listen. For the first time in all this time, Anna felt afraid to be near Mozart, although she understood that he had saved her life, but she was afraid of him. Thank you for protecting me. The girl forced a smile. I was just doing my duty. Chapter 6. Until the very end. They left the city a week ago. Anna decided that they had to move on. There was nothing but death waiting for them in the city. One day, Mozart managed to pick up a new wave on the radio. A pleasant female voice was telling about the shelter for all those in need. They promised to give a roof over their heads, food. It sounded very attractive. Perhaps even too much. Something repelled Anna from this place, so they headed in the opposite direction. After her encounter with the looters in the library, Anna had acquired a pistol with a full magazine of bullets. Her father had shown her how to handle a gun a couple of times, but she still needed practice. So she and Mozart would stop at abandoned farms and practice shooting. Soon Mozart was able to make his own cartridges from improvised means found in gun shops. Some of the ammunition was found in abandoned police stations. After a couple of weeks of practice, Anna was already handling the weapon quite well. She wanted to believe that she would not need it, but she understood that she was deceiving herself. After the death of her father and the incident in the library, Anna finally became convinced of how dangerous the outside world was. For years, her father had protected her from the horrors beyond their farm, and she knew he had meant well. But maybe if he had trusted Anna a little more, if he had taken her with him, maybe then her father would still be alive. Anna spent days turning these thoughts over in her head, and it only got worse. She knew it was time to let go of the past and move on. But it was too hard, and if it hadn't been for Mozart's company, she didn't know how long she would have lasted. They walked through the forest for several days. Mozart made a fire. Anna picked mushrooms and berries. With the help of its scanner, the robot told her which of these were edible. This continued for 3 more days, until they met an old man. That night they set up camp in the woods, building a small fire. Anna sat, enjoying the rare moments of peace while Mozart scanned the perimeter. Anna was just beginning to nod off when an old traveler emerged from the darkness. He was thin, dressed in a worn, patched travel cloak, an old man with eyes full of fatigue. "Excuse me," he said, approaching the fire. "I'm cold. Can I warm up a little?" Anna stared at the old man. He didn't look like someone who would attack her, especially in the presence of a robot. "Of course." Anna smiled and reached into a backpack for crackers. But then Mozart stopped her. The robot's pupils turned red again. "Threat detected," he said in a cold, unperturbed tone. "No, wait!" Anna jumped up. "It's just an old man." But Mozart had already acted. In the blink of an eye, his hand had plunged into the old man's chest. There was a wheeze. The old man went limp and fell face down in the dirt, his eyes glassy. Anna screamed. "Why did you do this?" she screamed, recoiling from Mozart. "The threat has been eliminated," the robot replied dispassionately. The girl looked at him, feeling a chill run down her spine. His protection had turned into something else. She was with a monster, created by her own father. Anna no longer recognized Mozart. She was afraid of him. She shuddered at his slightest movement. She tried to distract herself by reading, but it was impossible to concentrate on the text. One night she tried to escape from him, but Mozart never slept. The robot's pupils closely followed Anna's every move. If her father really did say, "Protect her until the very end," then he will never leave her. A couple of days later, they came out onto the highway. Here Anna saw a truly horrifying sight. Hundreds of abandoned cars on both lanes. Some of the cars had already managed to rust quite a bit. At first, she didn't want to rummage through other people's things, but Mozart convinced her that there was no other way out. Every little thing could be useful for their survival. Trunk of a black minivan, Anna found an open suitcase. Nothing out of the ordinary. Clothes, a first aid kit, household items. But then, she found a photograph. It was a photo of a happy family. Parents, sister and brother, and a golden retriever. They were standing in front of a wooden house. It was a summer day. Surely the whole family had gone out for a long-awaited picnic. A lit barbecue could be seen in the distance. Anna looked with particular curiosity at the family she had never seen in person. It was strange. For some reason, she felt a kinship with them. Smiles were frozen on their faces. Each member of this family made their own plans for the years ahead. For example, the young man, judging by the football team emblem on his baseball cap, was already going to a sports section. Most likely he wanted to become a football player. But all plans were not destined to come true. In the driver's and front passenger seats of the minivan, holding hands, sat skeletons. They were the parents. Anna didn't even want to know what happened to the rest of the family. Tears rolled down her cheeks.
After all, she once had the same family. But now she has lost everything in the world.
The girl pressed the photo to her chest. Falling to her knees, she buried her face in the asphalt and burst into tears. What happened?
Mozart put his hand on her shoulder. How can I? But Anna pushed him away. Go away, Anna shouted. This is all your fault. You should have gone to town with your father. You should have protected him, not me, but get away from me.
Anna grabbed an empty tin can from the asphalt and threw it at Mozart. Hit the nail right on the head. The can immediately bounced off him and rolled to the side. The robot followed it with an icy look and then looked at Anna.
But he didn't say anything. The color of his eyes didn't change either, because he couldn't be angry with Anna.
Forgive me, said Mozart, but I was only acting within the code prescribed by your father. Anna turned away from him. Wiping her tears with her sleeve, she slung her backpack over her back and walked forward. Mozart followed behind. No, Anna stopped, but didn't even turn around to look at him. This is where our paths diverge. But I can't leave you. Mozart's pupils turned yellow. I have to protect you until the very end. Anna pulled the pistol out of the holster and turned around sharply.
She pointed the gun straight at Mozart.
Tears began to flow down the girl's cheeks again. They looked at each other for tens of long seconds, and then she fired. First in one leg, then the other. A third shot followed into the center of his chest. Mozart fell to the asphalt with a deafening crash. Forgive me. Anna's eyes became completely red from tears. She squatted down and hugged Mozart. You were a true friend. But it will be better for both of us. Mozart's eyes changed color every second. The robot's security system went crazy and smoke started coming out of a hole in the center of his chest. But... Mozart's voice had changed. It was no longer soft and calm. It was now muffled and very low. The robot could no longer speak complete sentences. But I should... I know, Anna smiled, until the very end. From the broken speakers of Mozart, a song began to sound very quietly. Why does my heart keep beating? Why are my eyes crying? Don't they know that the end of the world has come? This happened when you said goodbye. The song ended mid-sentence. Mozart's eyes dimmed. Anna opened the hatch in the middle of the robot's chest and placed the book into its storage compartment. It was a collection of short stories by Ray Bradbury.